Hello, goblins. It's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. It's an episode of this week's Pipes. There's a lot of stuff going on around me at the moment. Don't know how much makes it into the speakers, but there's an aeroplane going over, birds tweeting, someone's banging on a log. The neighbourhood's alive. I'm just making some Tilbury. Halfway down that jar now, which is alarming. I don't know if you've been hearing across the globe, but in the UK we've had the submersible sinking story. I don't know if you've heard it. It's quite an interesting one, I thought. Obviously sad now. But 5 adventurous souls in a small submersible went down to explore the Titanic. And we lost contact with them on Sunday sometime. It's a craft only designed to be 8 hours underwater. So the idea that they were still alive in a sub for several days didn't sound very good. Doesn't conjure up a pleasant image. But then yesterday they discovered debris on the seabed just by the Atlantic, just by the Titanic. And so they know that this submersible imploded. And so death was kind of instantaneous. You can imagine, like, at whatever horrendous depth they were at, that sudden pressure, they were like snuffed out in a second. Which, as they're saying, and I can't disagree, is the next best alternative. I mean, they're adventurous souls, all of them. There was a teenager amongst them, which was a darn shame. But the others were all like seasoned adventurers, and I suppose going out while you're adventuring is not only a hazard, but it's almost the way that you want to go, I suppose. To go out doing what you love. Why not? But yeah. They certainly had a lot of people looking for them. Right. Some pipes. All of these, this week is a week of rustication. It's been the thing, and maybe it'll continue to be the thing. It's like slowly picked up both in my favour and your guys apparently. Some people have been asking me when are your next rusticated pipes coming out? There's a pipe maker that's actually kind of unusual. You know, the classic tier is people want smooth pipes, then sandblasted, and then rusticated, have traditionally been seen sort of at the bottom of the pile. I know that's not strictly true. There have been some forms of rustication that are highly sought after. Costello's sea rocks, for example. But still, it's really interesting. I started rusticating when I first started pipe making, because you don't have any of the other equipment. You can sand, of course, for a smooth, but generally when you're at the beginning of your pipe making career, your shaping is a bit god awful, and having a smooth and a god awful shape is a bit of a waste of time. So you rusticate, and then as you start to nail the shaping process, you sort of lean into smooth and a lot, because then in order to get the sandblasting kit, that's a bit of investment. You need to be making pipes, or have, for some reason, have a sandblaster to hand. Not very likely. And so now, I guess I'm coming back round to rustication as an art form, rather than as a means to make not so great pipes look somewhat palatable. But here we are, back to rusticating. And I have to admit, I'm enjoying it. It's quite a process, rusticating. For me, there's like 3 levels of rustication that I need to do before it looks right. It has to have the right level of detail in it, otherwise it just looks, well, wrong. You need a certain level of visual detail for it to go, yes, it's working. I'm going to show you 3 pipes. One of them is available. This is this week's commission, this one. Look at this fellow. A panelled billiard for Chris Ferraby. Hope I've got your name right there, Chris. Who is some kind of panelled billiard maniac. My elbow keeps slipping off the table. He asked me if I would do one, and I have to admit, I ummed and ahed. It's kind of the strictness that is imposed on you by the panels, really by the panelled billiard shape as a whole. I thought, do I want to do that? Actually, I had great fun doing it. As you can see, I've gone for my sort of like more robust styling on this guy. And I've seen various people do a panelled billiard, and I was wondering what my take was going to be on it. This is how I'll describe it. The way that I've seen other panelled billiards are a billiard shape with panels on them. So in profile, these and these would be quite straight, and also these panels here would be quite, you know, straight and angular, because the panels have been created, you know, flat to the sides of the pipe. I wanted to curve my panels to try and preserve as much of the billiard shape as possible. So, yeah, my panels curve. I'm sure I'm not the first person to think of doing it that way, but that is the way it occurred to me to do it. And you recognise by now the earth and ivory stem. Right from the bottom of the rod, the very bottom of the rod, which is why it's really ivory heavy. The top of the rod is earth heavy. So Chris has seen that and he's happy with it. I know he is. He said so. My voice is feeling rather dry at the moment. It is the weather. It's so dry. It's like I'm feeling it's difficult to keep hydrated. I keep drinking. All right. This is the pipe that is available. Oh, we've captured on the bag. A somewhat craggy freehand. Six and a half in length, I think. I seem to recall. Oh no, 7. Paired with the orange Cumberland. A really liquid flow to the colours on this one. Sometimes they can come out quite linear, and then sometimes they come out, the patterning is like this, just like liquid rolls and twirls. Just really nice definition between the orange and the black. Pretty cool. So there you go, craggy freehand. If you're interested in this fellow, just give me an email, devilsreef@gmail.com, or contact me via the social media network. And the last one. A craggy strawberry. Now, I made a craggy strawberry last week and it went instantaneously. In fact, I had calls to make another. So I made another. And this one went immediately as well. So I guess, well, I'm not sure what I'll do next week. But maybe something craggy. Maybe something about the strawberry and the craggy rustication does have something just about it. There's so much meat to eat into that you really can go nice and you know, get in there. This is paired with some moss green Cumberland. Quite often point this out when I have this colour on, but the green is not quite as green as it appears. It's almost like luminous on the camera. It's not as green as that. It's a more natural. It's called moss green for a reason. It really is a moss green. It's much more muted than it appears on the screen there. Why the camera loves it so, I don't know. There you go. Craggy strawberry. Someone said I should come up with a name for my rustication. I still don't have one. I'm still thinking about it. All right. That's it. I know I've got a cool pipe coming next week, so brace yourselves. Cool pipe coming next week. Something that you haven't seen for a little while. You've seen, but not for a little while. All right. Yeah. Dream on that for a little bit. I should be back next week, all being well. So until then, take it very easy. Your loyal pipe maker.